If Congress doesn't step up and either increase the gas tax, they'll have to take the money out of the general fund. America is one big pothole, Neil. If we don't come up with the money, we're in no way, shape, or form going to have the money to fix up the potholes.
But how sure are you that that money is going to be spent? I've heard of Social Security lockboxes. I've heard a lot of lockboxes, and I've had a devil of a time seeing this money accounted for collectively because it dwarfs anything imaginable. So I'm wondering, well, wait a minute. Before I commit more money, or you ask more money from us, can't we account for the money that's been spent and where it's going? Here we go again. Sound familiar? Well, remember the same exchange with a certain congressman who also wanted to hike gas taxes. So you're saying, well, maybe the difference and maybe the answer is more money. The fact of the matter is, with the money we spend, we can't account for it.
Where do you get that? You can't account for it.
Can you account for $42 billion? Can you spell out for me, Congressman, where that $42 billion is gone?
The budget is available for every state.
I'm aware of the budget. Can you tell me where it's gone? If the goal was to fix roads and bridges, and they're still, accurately to your point, falling apart, methinks someone has stolen it. Someone has taken it. You know, it is getting old, and demanding we simply pour good money after bad is getting old, too. Now, I know this ticks off people, but I'm all for fixing our roads and bridges. But first, tell me what happened to all the money we've already committed to fixing our roads and bridges. These guys can't. These guys won't. You guys respond by the thousands. Mary H. in Tinley Park, Illinois. It is about time someone started to ask what happened to the money we already provided. Jim in Youngstown, Ohio. Way to go, Neil. You couldn't get him to answer a simple, direct question about where the money that has been earmarked to fix our failing bridges and pothole roads has gone. He just wants us to fork over more money. Keep up the good fight. Joe via earthlink.net, you were quite right on pointing out how much is already collected for these purposes. Bob, Verizon.net, says not so fast. I agree with the former secretary. We need to pay for our roads. You suggest that the money was there. Where did it go? Better fuel-efficient cars have slowly diminished the funding, not a squandering of funds. Well, Bob, you're forgetting the simple fact that fuel-efficient or not, we have a lot more cars and a lot more drivers than we did back in 1993, collectively paying a lot more in taxes. Bill via Bell South explains it much better than I. The government doesn't collect percentages. The government collects money. The price of gas has gone up 800% in the last 20 years, inflation adjusted, much more than most commodities. This dollar increase in actual taxes, even at the same percentage, has increased much greater than the dollar cost of repairing roads. Bob in New Hope, Minnesota says, we as taxpayers are damned if we do and damned if we don't. I wholeheartedly agree with you. He, Secretary LaHood, stated that more money is needed because people are driving less, so there is less tax money. Isn't the government's position to use less oil and more renewable energy, so when the public responds and uses less, the answer of the government is to raise the rates to make up the tax money lost? Totally bizarre. Very good point. Almost as bizarre as politicians totally clueless to that fact. Now, before you ask for more money, again, and I say it again and again, show me the money. Show me what you've done with my money, with all our money. Then I'm quite happy to give you more money if, after all of that, you've proven that your lockbox for transportation spending only is spent, that it's empty. Let's just say in the meantime, Joe L. suspects that someone else has got into that lockbox. Neil, you were dead right to focus on the lockbox. What a crock. Social Security is supposed to be a lockbox, but you look at the box, all you find is IOUs. I have my belly full of these liars. Thomas via hotmail.com. Whenever you are driving on a highway late at night in New Jersey and you pass the guys working construction at 1 a.m., just remember that they are getting paid double overtime, regardless of how many hours they have worked. That is done for easing traffic jams, Thomas, and I'm okay with it. I'm not delighted about it, but I'm okay with it because, well, at least they're working. I'm telling you, this math is not working, not even close. Terry via AOL demands answers, not from the secretary, though, from me. Neil, if you know something, please tell us what it is that causes you to suggest the money has been spent. Ditto Helena in South Bennington, Florida. Neil, while we love you, you are completely off the track. The money being collected does go to infrastructure repair, but there is much more that needs to be done than there are dedicated funds. Well, not so, guys. The money collected should more than cover the infrastructure needs. Really, it should. But it doesn't. Why? True, the gas tax has not gone up, but revenues from gas taxes certainly have. And that's because, as I keep saying, there are a lot more drivers. There are a lot more cars paying a lot more in total gas taxes. And not just federal gas taxes. In just the last 20 years, states and cities and counties have added taxes and fees of their own, to the point where between Uncle Sam and the states, do you know what they're collecting? $85 billion from us in fuel taxes. Then there is the $12 billion in tolls. The $9.8 billion in property taxes and assessments earmarked for infrastructure repairs. The $14.5 billion in additional local and state ancillary fees. The $62 billion smackers in combined oil company taxes, presumably siphoned for just this sort of thing, or we were told would be. No wonder Reason magazine editor Matt Welch says the issue isn't the money we are paying, but where the heck it is going. We're talking $121 billion every year, folks. Keep in mind, I'm leaving out the nearly $800 billion in stimulus, largely allocated to fix roads and bridges for shovel-ready jobs. But I'm still shoveling through all these politicians' promises, trying to find out where it all went and where it's still going. Because my math, we were taking in more than enough to cover the very real infrastructure necessary spending we need. You don't solve a problem, my friends, throwing money at a problem, unless you can account for the money you have already thrown at that problem. We're not doing that. We're not even hearing that. We're looking like sinners if we dare raise that. Like the great war on poverty we have yet to win, despite spending trillions. You look callous if you dare ask any politician still starving for funds. They're starving because they're controlling, and they're wasting, and they're stealing, and they're hiding. And they're saying that those who dare question their good intentions haven't any good in them at all. It's not callous to ask where all of this dough is going. It is callous not to. Because this isn't about paying for another bridge to nowhere. This is about digging an even deeper hole that never leads us anywhere. So I want you to focus on this, my friends, something we're going to expound on a little bit more, 3 hours on Fox Business Network, a special show on this. Where does the money go? Because every time I'm tired of it, it's, oh, Neil, you don't care about the poor, or you don't care about helping those in need, or you don't care about our infrastructure problem. I care about all of the above. But I also care about the taxpayers, that would be you, who foots the bill for all of this so-called caring. And they cannot explain where the money's going. And they have the gall to say, good money after bad. Excuse my French. That pisses me off. Just saying. See you at 8. Just saying.